Fruitful Living with Sissel Anderson. Here on Morning Joy, where truth matters.
I'm your host, Keith Downey. And are we really focused on our own little bubble of life that we're just so unable to see the opportunities to serve others? Well, we're going to find all about that here coming up with Sissel Anderson on our Fruitful Living segments. Good morning, Sissel.
Good morning, Keith. It's good to be back. Keith, it wasn't personal towards you when I chose this topic, okay? If anything, it was personal towards me. But you know what? I'm sure a lot of people probably feel the same convictions that you do when you hear this topic. And I kind of came up with a different version of way of asking this, in that when someone asks, can someone help with insert this task? Are they talking to you, or do you think they're talking to someone else?
That's a great question. I don't even know the answer to that one. Pray tell.
Well, I was just thinking about it because I had an experience a few weeks ago that made me think about this and made me think about where our culture is at as far as being very insular and very focused on what we're doing, making sure we're doing all the right things, and we've got all of our stuff together, that we kind of ignore whatever is going on around us and those opportunities to serve. And what happened was that I was traveling back I was actually traveling to the Eucharistic Congress, but I was traveling from our GRN retreat. It is, I don't know, dark o'clock. It is stupid o'clock. It's 4 something in the morning. I am on the airplane, kind of zoned out because it's so early. And all of a sudden, I see this family of 3 coming down the aisle. It's like a mom, dad, and a little boy. And then they go back up to the front. Again, I did not have any headphones with me, so I am. Everyone else is kind of in their own little world. I'm just kind of sitting there. And all of a sudden, the air hostess makes an announcement saying, there are no double seats left, no 2 seats next to each other left. Is anyone willing to move their seat so that this little boy can sit with one of his parents? Right, that was the announcement. Very simple. Yeah. And again, I'm halfway there. I'm like just not really fully there. But I waited a second, poked my head out, looking down up and down the aisle, thinking, surely someone out of this like 130 people on this plane has started moving already. And there wasn't. And that was including myself. I also was not doing anything at that point. And I was like, oh, and it just hit me, and suddenly my brain, Sissel, this is the opportunity to help somebody. Why aren't you moving? Why aren't you doing anything? And then I kind of awkwardly stumble out of my seat, basically, and be like, oh, I'm here. I will move. I'm not attached to my seat. I will move. And really, it wasn't a big deal. I was moving back like 5 rows to another aisle seat. It was not like I was moving to a middle seat. It was no big sacrifice. Oh my goodness, I'll be off the plane 2 minutes later. I love when everyone jumps off, by the way, jumps up at the end of a plane and thinks they're going to get off earlier than they are. It always cracks me up. But
seriously, what is that about?
I don't understand. I never understood that, but we're very impatient people. Yeah. But the hostess thanked me like 5 times throughout this 50-minute flight. It was a 50-minute flight, by the way. It was a very short flight. It wasn't even like it was this great sacrifice. The dad was thanking me, and I'm like, okay, this is a little bit of an overkill. But it just made me think the reason they were doing is because they didn't expect anyone to be willing to do that, because we're such a place in our culture where we don't look for opportunities to serve each other, because we're so focused in on what we're doing. Now, I'm going to put it out there. I'm not talking about, there are plenty of people there who are also with their families. That is not the opportunity for you to leave your kid. Be yeah, you're just like, oh, I'll go. Yeah, totally, take it. But can you watch my kid too? No, there are people who this was not, directed towards at that particular time. But there were also plenty of people who were solo riders like me, who could have easily done this. And this is not to toot my horn, because it was literally no sacrifice, / I also hesitated and was like, someone else going to do that? Someone doing that? Oh, no one's doing that. Uh-oh. And then I was like, I am trying to live a life of faith. I'm trying to get to heaven, and I need to be looking for opportunities, all the opportunities I can to offer things up. And so, yeah, it just made me think, like, we are really so stuck that I like what Debbie and Adam were talking about earlier about having a plan for, your spiritual life. And I think when we're in that situation where we're in a constant, state of prayer, we have set aside time for prayer, we've prioritized our life in such a way, we're able to see and hear those opportunities to serve other people. And that is just such a added bonus to the spiritual life here on earth. It's just a way that we can serve others. Not only does it, I think, sanctify us, it helps us in our faith journeys, but we're also in a situation where we can really just build that community of people around us. I think there have been times in the past where people relied on their community to help them. And I think we're a little bit insular now, and it's harder for us to, serve each other.
Oh, totally. And, just doing by what you did, while in the grand scope, I guess it wasn't a big act. It certainly was, because I'm sure there was others who saw you give up your seat and be like, wow, that's incredible. Like, maybe I should do that. And maybe they did that on their next flight, or the transfer, their layover. It's just, if we do more of these things, serving others, people will see it and they'll take notice. And it's just funny too, because like once everybody sits down, it's like, that's it. I'm putting all my stuff down on the ground there, and I'm not moving. And then it's time to start watching the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring for the 90th time. It's different on the plane, right?
Of course.
And then just putting the blinders on. And that's so true. Like, I was just thinking of my own experiences too. Recently, I just started to, as soon as I sit down, I get tempted to pull out my phone, connect, and then see what's, what can I watch on this 3-hour flight. I stop what I'm doing and I pray rosary, because I noticed I don't have my headphones in, so I can hear things in case there is situations that I need to be aware of, like yours. Maybe I need to move, whatever the case may be. But also, I've timed it. I've done it several times now. As I'm done praying the rosary, the plane's taking off. So it actually helps move time along for me as well. So it's and obviously pray for a good, safe flight. But
Sure.
It's just it's good to not be so involved in our own little bubble, like you said.
Yeah. And honestly, I currently have misplaced my headphones, so I didn't have them. That's literally why I didn't have them. I might have had them in. I am a very big advocate of praying a rosary. I start praying it, though, as we start taxiing out onto the runway, because I'm a nervous flyer, so I always pray a rosary during takeoff. So, but had I had my headphones in or just been in my own, and also the Wi-Fi wasn't working for me either, so I was very much like, I got nothing better to do but sit here. And I was just literally staring off in the distance. But so that's why I was, able to be aware. But I think another aspect of this is that we sometimes will come up with a million reasons in our head why it's not directed at us, or maybe why the person that we could be serving may not deserve it as well, which is obviously a terrible way to think about things. But I know I do it, so I guarantee there's a few people out there that feel the same. I even did think it for a second. Again, this is not good. But when the family came in, I thought, usually families board earlier, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they were pretty late actually getting on the plane. Everyone else was seated. So your head is like, well, if you gotten here earlier, you might have had a seat to get, that's probably what a lot of people were thinking. Cause for a brief second, I thought, oh, that's too bad. I wish they had gotten here, oh man. But, Tim just pointed out in the chat, none of us deserve that, deserve what God has given us. And so I think we can offer a little bit, to others. There's a Proverbs that's, definitely kind of hits home. Proverbs 3:27 that says, do not withhold good from whom it is due, when it is in your power to do it.
Wow.
So basically saying here, if you have the ability to help somebody, and again, not at a detriment of your own family or of your, of yourself, obviously you could self-sacrifice, but if it's actually going to truly, truly be bad for you, don't go leave your family. Like I said, don't go, do something that would not be helpful when you have your order of life and things that you're supposed to do. But if you have the power to do something, when someone says, can someone help me move these tables? Can someone help me take out the trash? Or at a church function, they need someone to come do something. Are we the first people to jump up at that? And I think we just need to recenter and refocus and be out in the world a little bit more and see those opportunities, because it's also a very good witness of Christ's love, the love that is inside of us that others can see.
Amen. And one of the things that I've learned as far as humility wise goes, and if anybody out there listening, they could probably also say, yes, this is definitely their experience too. If you have a toddler, maybe a smaller child that you're flying in the air with, and you're the person like myself that was holding onto the enormous car seat, walking down the plane aisle, it's people certainly don't give you pleasant looks. That's for sure.
No, I'm sure.
Like, what are you doing? You're bringing a child on the plane? Are you serious. It's like, I'm sorry.
Hey, if you really want to be, I personally, because I think that's a whole other topic we could talk about another time, is how we're very anti-family with having to do with like pro-life things. But like, I will sit next to the family with the kid who probably be crying throughout the plane, because I am like, I'm not going to care. / I want to show them that it's okay. They have support, and I'm not going to give them nasty looks. And I know a lot of other people are not going to sit next to them. And I just see how moms and dads apologize to me before the plane has even taken off. And I'm just like, be chill. It's fine. I will survive a few hours of discomfort.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. Thank you so much, Sissel, for joining us this morning on Fruitful Living, helping us recenter ourselves and being open for those opportunities. We can also catch you as producer Back to the Father Friday afternoons on YouTube, 1 p.m. Central. Also host of The Young and Present in Dallas. And hey, this is kind of a tease for the next hour. We're going to be talking about some countercultural living using the Beatitudes. So that's coming up in the second hour. But yes, this is the end of the first hour. We recognize that, and maybe many of you are going to be listening to the Holy Mass coming up next. If that's the case, please pray for us. We'll keep you in our prayers as we continue our journey towards holiness on the second hour of Morning Joy. But yes, if this is us parting ways, God bless, make it a joyful day. But if you're hanging around right after this quick break, we're talking more Morning Joy, where truth matters. We'll see you after this break.
This has been Morning Joy, where truth matters, hosted by Keith Downey. Take some joy with you today. Visit grnonline.com/joy to listen again, share a segment, or answer the question of the day. That's grnonline.com/joy.